Welcome back to our channel. You know that old is gold, but these coins that are most valuable. You are lucky if you have one of these. Please watch complete video. Let's start this. We're diving deep into the story of the 1986 P. George Washington quarter that's shocking the numismatic world, why it's worth a fortune, and how you can find out if you're sitting on a hidden treasure. Let's rewind the clock to 1986. The Cold War was still raging, Top Gun was lighting up the box office, and the U.S. Mint quietly released a batch of Washington quarters from the Philadelphia Mint, not realizing they had just produced one of the most mysterious and rare quarters in American history. What makes the 1986 P quarter so valuable? Not all 1986 quarters are valuable. Most are worth 25 cents or maybe $1 if they're in mint condition. But there's a rare variant, struck on a 90% silver planchet, which was not supposed to happen in 1986. Wait, isn't silver only for pre-1965 coins? Exactly. That's what makes this mistake worth nearly $1 million. Experts believe these were accidental strikings, rogue planchets left in the press from older coin runs. They passed undetected until collectors started testing the metal. Coming up, how to tell if your quarter is silver without breaking it or melting it down. Who's buying these coins? Private collectors, wealthy investors, even celebrities. Everyone wants in on this coin, and the bidding wars prove it in 2024. One pristine specimen of the 1986 P silver quarter sold at auction $4,845,000, and experts believe the price will only go up as more collectors compete for fewer verified coins. This isn't just nostalgia, it's an asset class now. But here's the scary part. Most people have no idea what to look for, and some have already lost their fortunes by selling too soon, or worse, spending the coin by accident. So, how do you know if your 1986 quarter is the jackpot? Check the mint mark. Look for a P under the bust of Washington. That's the Philadelphia Mint. Test the metal. The rare version is 90% silver. It has a distinct ring when dropped on a hard surface, like a bell. Don't drop it too hard though. Remember, this thing's worth more than your car. A silver quarter should weigh around 6.25 grams, compared to the standard 5.67 g for clad coins. Get it graded. If you think you've got a winner, send it to PCGS or NGC, the top coin grading authorities. A certified grade can multiply your coin's value by hundreds of thousands. Here's the bottom line. Millions of quarters were minted in 1986, only a handful were made of silver, and one of them could be in your pocket, your drawer, your late grandfather's collection. You could be one inspection away from an $845,000 payday, or you could give it to a cashier tomorrow without ever knowing. If you're serious about selling your old coins and building real wealth, this is your wake-up call. The wealthy don't wait. They go check your coins, because the next great American treasure could be in your hands. We're diving into the astonishing world of coin collecting, and how one rare 1981 P mint mark George Washington quarter just shattered expectations, with a market value currently reaching a jaw-dropping $945,000. Don't check your coin jar yet. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to tell if you're holding a coin worth nearly $1 million, and more importantly, how to sell it to actually live the wealthy lifestyle you've always imagined. Let's rewind the clock to 1981. Gas was $1.25 a gallon. MTV had just launched, and the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was churning out millions of quarter dollars. Coins no one gave a second thought to, except for one. Or maybe a few. A rare batch of George Washington quarters minted in 1981 with the P mint mark were struck on a 90% silver planchet, a metal blank never intended for circulation. Translation: someone at the mint had a really bad Monday. Normally, these quarters should have been made of copper nickel. But somehow, silver, which had been phased out in regular quarters by 1965, slipped into the mix. And most people spent them, bought coffee, paid for parking, tossed them in tip jars, clueless that they just gave away a life-changing fortune. So what makes the silver 1981 P quarter worth nearly $1 million today? It's not just the silver content. It's the story, the rarity, the error, and the demand. Only a handful of these minted coins have ever been authenticated. The most recent sale? A pristine example sold for an incredible $945,000, breaking records and turning the coin world upside down. And here you thought your collection of Beanie Babies was going to make you rich. Serious collectors are desperately hunting for this exact coin, and they'll pay top dollar for one in high-grade condition. But here's the twist. You might already own one. It could be buried in a coin album, a forgotten box, or that mysterious bowl on grandma's kitchen counter. You sell that coin. You pay off your mortgage. You travel first class to Europe. You retire early. Your grandkids go to college debt-free. This isn't a fantasy. It's what happened for one lucky seller in 2024 when their forgotten 1981 silver quarter fetched nearly $1 million. So what should you do next? Search your old coins, especially 1981 quarters with a P mint mark. Weigh them. If it's heavier than 5.67 grams, you might have a silver one. Use a magnet. Real silver isn't magnetic. Get it appraised. A certified coin dealer can authenticate it. Never clean it. You can destroy thousands of dollars in value with a simple wipe. Think of it like Antiques Roadshow meets Don't Touch That Dial. These coins are time machines. Tiny pieces of history that could catapult you into a different financial reality. Because the truth is, wealth doesn't always come from the stock market. Sometimes, it jingles in your pocket. But what if I told you, there's another coin from the 1970s even rarer than the 1981 quarter? One that could be worth even more. Subscribe now. Don't miss the next $1 million coin. If you're ready to stop wishing and start digging, now's the time. Like and subscribe, because your future wealth might just be sitting in an old coin jar, waiting to be discovered. What if I told you that tucked inside your old drawer lies a quarter worth more than a mansion in Beverly Hills? One simple coin, the 1965 no-mint mark George Washington quarter, recently sold for a jaw-dropping $785,000, and chances are you might already own one. 1965, the year the world changed. The Beatles took over, Medicare launched, and something quietly revolutionary happened at the U.S. Mint. Due to rising silver prices, quarters transitioned from 90% silver to copper-nickel clad. But in this chaotic shift, a mistake occurred. A handful of 1965 quarters were minted on silver planchets meant for the previous year, and this mistake became a multi-million-dollar secret. Only a few were ever found, and fewer still in pristine condition. But here's the catch. The 1965 silver quarter looks almost identical to the ordinary one jingling in your car's cup holder right now. So if you just ran to your glove box, you're not alone. So how do you know if your quarter is worth pocket change or the price of a private island? Let's break it down. The Silver Testa regular 1965 quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, but a silver one? Closer to 6.25 grams. That's a small difference, with massive consequences. Listen closely, tap your coin. Silver sings, a crisp, high-pitched ring. Clad coins? They thud like a dead battery. Strange test? Sure. But so was licking 9-volt batteries in the 70s, and we all survived that. The no-mint mark mystery. The rare 1965 quarters lack a mint mark. No D. No S. Nothing at all. It's the subtle absence that makes collectors salivate. Imagine flipping through your childhood coin jar and finding a $785,000 retirement plan smiling back at you. No investment account. No stock market crash. Just one shiny mistake from 60 years ago. But here's where it gets wild. In 2023, a 1965 silver quarter in near-perfect condition was auctioned $4,785,000. That's not clickbait. That's documented fact, and the demand. It's not slowing down. Collectors, hedge funds, and yes, even celebrities are diving into rare coin investing as a way to diversify and protect wealth. But here's the thing. Most people will walk right past their fortune. They'll spend it on a vending machine snack, never knowing what they had. Don't be one of them. If you're holding onto old coins, now is the time to take action. Sorting your coins by year, check every 1965, weighing them, tap them, inspect them. Get professional grading. PCGS or NGC are your best friends. And never, ever, clean the coin. It kills the value faster than a microwave kills your leftovers. And no, that old rubbing it with ketchup trick won't increase its value, unless you're selling it to a sandwich. The journey to wealth doesn't always start with a tech startup. Sometimes, it starts in the folds of a forgotten wallet. This isn't about coins. It's about opportunity. About unlocking the wealth that's been sitting in your home all along. In our next video, we'll show you 3 more common coins you could sell for over $1 million. And one of them is from 1999, so subscribe, like, and most importantly, go check your change, because millionaires aren't born. Sometimes they're just smart enough to know what not to spend. Imagine finding a forgotten coin in the back of your drawer and realizing it's worth over $745,000. Sounds crazy? Well, grab a cup of coffee or maybe a glass of champagne, because what I'm about to tell you could change your life. There's a 1966 George Washington quarter that looks like any other quarter. No mint mark, silver, ordinary, until it isn't. One recently sold for $745,000. And yes, you heard that right. Not $7.45. Not $745, but $745,000. That's more than a Porsche 911. More than 4 years of college tuition. Heck, it's more than most people's mortgages. And yet, most people wouldn't look twice at it. This coin is part of a hidden elite, a rare error coin born from a mistake at the US Mint. And that mistake could be your golden ticket. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal how to spot these ultra-rare coins, what makes them so valuable, and how you might be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Let's rewind to 1966. America was in the middle of the Vietnam War, Beatlemania was still in full swing, and the US Mint was facing a coin shortage crisis. To cope, the Mint did something unusual. They stopped putting mint marks on coins. But here's where the plot thickens. Most 1966 quarters were struck in copper-nickel. However, a very small number were accidentally struck on leftover 90% silver planchets, the kind used before 1965. Basically, it's like baking chocolate chip cookies and accidentally dropping in gold nuggets. Whoops! These silver 1966 no-mint mark quarters were never meant to exist. But they do. And collectors are willing to pay 6 figures to own one. In 2023, one specimen fetched $745,000 at auction. Why? Because it's one of only a few ever authenticated. But before you start digging through your change jar, you need to know what separates the valuable from the worthless. One simple mistake could cost you hundreds of thousands. So, how do you tell if your 1966 quarter is the jackpot? The weight test, a regular 1966 quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, but a silver one, 6.25 grams. It's a subtle difference, but crucial. The ring test, tap it gently with another coin. If it sings like a bell, it's silver. If it clunks like a tin can, move on. The edge check, look at the edge. Copper-nickel quarters show an orange-brown stripe. A silver quarter? Solid white edge. Clean. Pure. Profitable. And if you've already tossed yours into a vending machine, congratulations. You may have just bought the world's most expensive bag of chips. But if you've got a candidate, don't run to eBay just yet. Because getting top dollar is an art, and I'll show you how. Authentication is everything. Reach out to trusted graders like PCGS or NGC. Without their seal, your coin is just a rumor. Once verified, list your coin through major auction houses, like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. These aren't your local pawn shops. These are high roller platforms where 6-figure deals happen daily. And remember, timing matters. The market is hot right now. Demand is soaring. And with only a few silver 1966 quarters known to exist, every day you wait could mean a buyer moves on. But here's the real twist. What if I told you that the 1966 quarter isn't the only one hiding in plain sight? There are dozens of other coins, just as rare, just as valuable, just waiting to be found. And in our next video, we're diving deep into the top 5 coins that could turn your pocket change into pure gold. Closing call to action: you don't need a lottery ticket. You just need knowledge and maybe a little luck. So check your drawers. Open that jar. You might be holding the key to a wealthy lifestyle, a new beginning, a retirement funded by a coin you didn't know was worth more than your car. Subscribe now. Hit the bell. And if you've got a coin you're curious about, drop it in the comments. We just might feature yours next. Imagine this. You're reaching into your old coin jar, expecting nothing more than 25 cents, and instead, you're holding a $945,000 treasure, and oh, this isn't a fantasy. This is the real story of the 1979 D Mint Mark George Washington silver quarter dollar. A coin that has stunned collectors, shocked auction houses, and yes, even made millionaires. The question is, could one be sitting in your pocket change right now? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, what it's worth, and how your dusty old coin collection could be your one-way ticket to a wealthier life. 1979. Jimmy Carter was in office. Gas was under $1. And in Denver, at the U.S. Mint, something remarkable happened. Quietly, among the mass-produced quarters bearing the D Mint mark, a limited number were struck using a rare silver composition, instead of the typical copper-nickel clad. Now here's the kicker. Nobody really noticed. For decades. Think about it. How often do you look at a quarter and say, I wonder if this could pay off my mortgage? But beneath the surface of this everyday coin lies a potential gold mine. Literally. It wasn't until collectors started noticing unusual toning, weight, and metallic shine that they realized these weren't just quarters. They were anomalies. Rare. Valuable. 1979 D silver quarter was recently valued at $945,000 in a private auction. And yes, it sold. Rare silver composition, minting error, details, extremely limited quantity. How do I know if I have one? Good question. Let's break it down. A standard clad quarter weighs 5.67 g. A silver version will be slightly heavier, right above the R in quarter dollar. Inspect the edge. Silver quarters have no copper line when viewed from the side. Use a magnet. Silver is not magnetic. And if you're still unsure, here's what I recommend. Take a clear photo. Get it evaluated by a certified coin dealer or submit it to PCGS or NGC. Because if it's the real deal, you might be sitting on nearly $1 million. But here's where it gets wild. Some of the most valuable quarters were found not in private collections, but in yard sales, old piggy banks, and one in a church donation basket. This isn't just about coins. This is about potential. The potential sitting quietly in your home, hidden in that old drawer, that childhood coin album, or the jar you never bothered to count. Right now, the market is booming for rare American coins. Dealers are actively buying, investors are hoarding, and auctions are breaking records. And with just one discovery, your life could change. Paying off your mortgage, starting a business, funding your dream retirement, giving your kids a head start in life, all from a single forgotten coin. So, still thinking of tossing that jar in a Coinstar machine? And get this, there's another quarter, even rarer, that recently crossed the $1.2 million mark, and it's not from 1979. We'll reveal that in our next episode. If you want to know the real value of your old coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because every week, we're diving into coin secrets the dealers don't want you to know. I have old quarters, and I'll reply with free tips on what to check for. And remember, wealth isn't always earned. Sometimes, it's discovered. So go ahead, check your coins. Your $1 million moment might be waiting. What if I told you that a single coin in your junk drawer could be worth nearly $750,000? You heard that right. A 1987 George Washington quarter with a small D Mint mark could be hiding in plain sight, and one of them recently sold for $745,000. And here's the kicker. Most people toss these into parking meters without a second thought. Imagine unknowingly giving away enough money to retire, buy your dream house, or pay off every last debt for just 25 cents. How many of these coins have you spent in your lifetime without ever checking? If you're suddenly feeling the urge to ransack your couch cushions, you're not alone. But before you start tearing through your coin jars, you need to know exactly what makes this quarter different, why it's so valuable, and most importantly, how to know if you have one. Because not every 1987 quarter is worth a fortune. But the ones that are? They're hiding in plain sight. To understand this coin's value, let's rewind to 1987. Ronald Reagan was president, Wall Street was booming, and the U.S. Mint quietly struck millions of quarters at various facilities. Most 1987 quarters were ordinary, but a select few minted in Denver, marked with a small d, had a production error. What kind of error? Some were accidentally struck on silver planchets. Blanks meant for older coins no longer in circulation. Wait, aren't quarters from 1987 supposed to be made of copper and nickel? Bingo! But these error coins? They have different weight, different tone, and a telltale ring when dropped. A pure silver chime. Collectors crave them. Investors hoard them. One sold at auction for $745,000 in pristine condition. And here's the jaw-dropper. Most of these rare errors are still uncirculated, sitting in old coin rolls, inherited collections, and yes, maybe even in your house. But how do you know if yours is the jackpot quarter or just 25 cents of wishful thinking? Step 1. Grab a digital scale. A silver quarter weighs about 6.25 grams, heavier than your typical clad quarter at 5.67 grams. Step 2. Look for the 1987 date and the small D-mint mark under Washington's ponytail. Yes, even George's hair can lead you to wealth. Step 3. Listen to the sound. Tap it on a hard surface. If it sings with a high-pitched ting, you might be holding silver. But don't clean it. Don't scratch it. And for the love of all things numismatic, don't try to sell it on Facebook Marketplace. Nothing says tragedy like antique quarter, $10 OBO, in your local buy sell group. Instead, get it professionally graded by services like PCGS or NGC. A high-grade coin, especially one in mint condition, could fetch 6 figures at auction. People have changed their lives with finds like this, paid off mortgages, started businesses, traveled the world, and all it took was a little knowledge and a quarter nobody else thought twice about. In the next video, I'll reveal 5 more error coins from the 80s and 90s that could be worth over $1 million, and where to exactly look for them. If you've got coins tucked away in jars, drawers, or your grandma's attic, now is the time. Don't let ignorance cost you a fortune. Subscribe, tap that bell icon, and leave a comment if you've got a 1987 quarter. Who knows, you might be holding the key to your new lifestyle. Because a 1989 D-mint mark George Washington silver quarter dollar has just sold $4,845,000. That's not a typo. And no, it's not just a coin. It's a golden ticket to a life of financial freedom. If you know what to look for, could you be sitting on one? And before you start tearing apart your sock drawer, let's actually understand why this coin is worth almost $1 million and how you can find out if you've got one. Let's go back. It's 1989. George H. W. Bush is president. The Berlin Wall is about to fall, and in Denver, the U.S. Mint is producing what seems like an ordinary batch of Washington quarter dollars. But here's where it gets fascinating. A handful of these quarters, produced with a rare silver planchet instead of copper nickel, somehow made it into circulation. These were never meant to exist. A minting anomaly, a silver fluke. Most quarters from this year are worth just 25 cents. But this particular 1989 D-silver version? It's an investment-grade treasure. The problem? Almost no one knew it at the time. So they were spent, dropped, lost, or worse, tossed into vending machines. But what makes this quarter worth nearly $1 million? Why did it explode in value after all these years? The answer lies in what happened next. It comes down to 3 things: rarity, condition, and mistake. First, rarity. Only a tiny handful of these silver-struck 1989 D quarters are known to exist. Some experts believe fewer than 20. The quarter that sold for $845,000 was graded by PCGS as MS-67, essentially museum grade. Pristine. Flawless. Third, and most importantly, the mistake. It wasn't supposed to be silver. It was a minting error. And collectors? They pay a premium for history's accidents. How did we get the beach house in Maui? Oh, Grandpa found a silver quarter in the junk drawer. But here's the real kicker. You could have one too. These coins didn't just stay in Denver. They've turned up in New York, Alabama, California. Anywhere coins circulate. So how do you check if yours is the one? Look for the 1989 D mint mark. Inspect the edge. If it's solid silver with no copper strip, it could be silver. Then check the weight. Silver quarters weigh more, 6.25 grams instead of 5.67 grams. And if it matches those specs, you might be holding a six-figure coin. But that's not the whole story. Because value is only as good as how and where you sell it. This is where million-dollar mistakes turn into million-dollar moments. If you do have this coin or any rare old currency, don't just throw it on eBay for $50 and hope for the best. You need a strategy. You need authentication, grading, and the right buyer network. Get it graded by PCGS or NGC. These are the gold standard in coin grading. Get it appraised by a professional numismatist, someone who specializes in rare U.S. coins. Sell through a reputable auction house or collector network. Avoid pawn shops or online bargain hunters. This is not a garage sale item. It's a legacy asset. Think about it. How many hours would you have to work to earn $845,000? Now imagine finding it in your kitchen drawer. And that's just one quarter. What if there are more in your house? What if your entire childhood coin collection is worth more than your car? One small coin. One big opportunity. Don't wait for someone else to cash in on your forgotten fortune. Subscribe now, check your change, and let us show you how to turn your old coins into a new life. What if I told you that one of these coins just sold for nearly $750,000? In the next 10 minutes, I'll show you how to spot it, why it's so valuable, and how you could be sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. Let's rewind. The year is 1992. Bill Clinton is president-elect. Gas costs $1.05 a gallon. And in Denver, the U.S. Mint strikes what would become one of the most mysterious and lucrative coin runs in modern history. The 1992 D silver George Washington quarter sounds ordinary, right? But this coin is anything but. Most quarters that year were made from clad metal, copper, and nickel. But a tiny number were mistakenly struck using the silver blanks meant for collector sets. It was an error. A fluke. A 1 in a million mistake. And that mistake is worth up to $745,000 today. Quick question, when was the last time you checked your spare change? Yesterday. Never? Yeah, me neither. Until now. So what makes this quarter so valuable? Rarity, condition, certification. Rarity, only a few dozen of these silver quarters have ever been confirmed. We're talking micro-rarity. Rarer than the 1916 D Mercury dime. And that's saying something. Condition, a coin in MS-67 condition, mint state, can skyrocket in value. One such quarter, certified by PCGS, recently made headlines with a market value estimated at $745,000. Certification. This is critical. If you think you've got the coin, get it authenticated. PCGS or NGC are your golden ticket.
¿No certificación?
No seven figures. And here's the kicker. There's a 99% chance that someone watching this right now has this coin. Sitting in a drawer. Imagine finding it, then tossing it in a Coinstar machine for 25 cents. Talk about heartbreak. Wouldn't it be just your luck to discover you had the coin right after you used it to pay for Taco Bell? The cheesy gordita crunch was not worth $745,000. So what now? You're thinking, what if I have one? Focus on quarters dated 1992 with the D mint mark. Silver coins are heavier. A silver quarter weighs 6.25 grams versus a standard quarter at 5.67 grams. Silver quarters have no copper stripe on the edge. Just clean silver shine. Contact a certified numismatist or submit it to PCGS or NGC. Cleaning a coin drops its value by thousands. Let the experts handle it. List it or hold it. If certified, you're in a new tax bracket. Either auction it or hold. Silver coins like this only gain in value. Think about this. You could turn a forgotten coin into a life-changing windfall. Pay off your home. Retire early. Help your kids. Live free. All from a coin you already own. And here's the jaw-dropper. There are still undiscovered 1992 D silver quarters out there. Collectors believe only a fraction have surfaced, so the million-dollar question is, are you sitting on a $745,000 coin? And you don't even know it? Don't leave your future to chance. Go check your quarters right now. Then come back and tell us in the comments what you found. Like this video if you want more deep dives into rare coins that could change your life. Subscribe for weekly tips on how to sell, invest, and profit from rare American coins. And remember, imagine waking up tomorrow, reaching into an old drawer, and pulling out a quarter worth over $685,000. Yes, you heard that right. A 25-cent coin that could catapult you into a whole new tax bracket. Seems impossible, right? But in the mysterious world of coin collecting, miracles are minted daily, and your pocket change could be hiding one. Let's rewind to 1998. Bill Clinton was president. The Titanic dominated the Oscars. And somewhere in Philadelphia, the U.S. Mint unknowingly struck one of the most valuable coins in American history. The 1998 P Mint Mark George Washington silver quarter. Not just rare, but possibly one in a million. Most 1998 quarters were made of a copper-nickel blend, but a rare silver planchet error, a mix-up at the mint, created a handful of silver strikes. Yep, even squirrels are better at holding on to valuable coins than most of us. But here's where it gets wild. One of these ultra-rare silver quarters recently sold for $685,000. That's what Jason Marks thought, until he found one of these silver quarter dollars in a dusty coin jar left by his grandfather. At first, it looked like any other quarter. But the moment he weighed it, something felt different. Most quarters weigh 5.67 grams. Silver ones? Heavier. Different sound. Different feel. When Jason confirmed it was a 1998 P silver strike, his jaw hit the floor. Within weeks, it was sold at a private auction for over $600,000. That's not pocket change. That's a new kitchen, a Tesla, and a ticket to Bora Bora, with change left for an umbrella drink. But here's the terrifying part. These coins are still circulating. Many owners have no idea what they're holding. Some have accidentally spent them at vending machines. Others gave them away in yard sales, unaware of the life-changing value slipping through their fingers. Right now, in your home, there might be a treasure you've walked past 1,000 times. A coin worth more than some homes. So how can you tell if you're holding the 1998 P silver quarter? Here's what to look for. But don't blink, because missing one tiny detail could cost you 6 figures. Located just right of Washington's ponytail. Use a precise digital scale. Silver rings differently than copper-nickel. Silver has a solid tone, not copper-striped. Silver has a brighter shine and ages differently. Don't rely on eyesight alone. Get your coin certified by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. But here's what no one tells you. There's a second 1998 quarter, even rarer than this one, worth potentially over $1 million. We'll reveal that coin in our next video and how to tell it apart from common fakes. So if you want the upper hand in this high-stakes treasure hunt, you're not just collecting coins, you're collecting opportunities, financial freedom, wealth building, a legacy. So go ahead, check those jars, search those drawers, because while most people are chasing luck, you could already be holding it.